Howdy. What's the haps? Welcome back in to another video. It is, of course, more pick'ems for the playoff stage. Super excited for this for two reasons. I think it's pretty open, you know, CS2, first major, and it has kind of delivered in that sense. The expectations are being subverted in a good way. And then also, for this one, I'm going to be there. So that's really cool. It's actually my first major because, you know, before I was sort of at uni, not as much money. You know, could have got down there maybe if I wanted, but it was pretty far for me for when we had the one in London. And then COVID happened. So, you know, that's kind of cool. Right. So let's see about this. Have a little bit of a check-in with the previous stage, of course. Didn't quite go to plan. We were pretty close. Needed VP to win. Didn't have G2 going through, which, you know, is my funky little hot pick. And didn't really go with that many crazy choices. Let's say Complexity, maybe one of them. Miles, I was correct that they would go through. FaZe, correct that they would go through. But, you know, this new system is a little harsher. Obviously, teams like Eternal Fire, Cloud9. Certainly could have put them in there. Thought they'd maybe get a little bit eliminated. But actually, as you can see from the run here, really, really solid sort of showing out from those teams, to be fair. Only dropping one map, you know, and we had Spirit against Cloud9. Maybe fair enough, because those guys are looking pretty hot. And then, of course, Eternal Fire, again, also in the BO1. But, like, you know, the FaZe win here is really, really clean. They lost out to Miles, who go 3-0. So these are two of our better-looking teams that, unfortunately, surprised us a little bit, I suppose, in the sense of shutting down where things were at with a Cloud9 and Eternal Fire. Got a little bit unlucky in places. Pain performing a little better than expected, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, they got very, very close, in fact, to nearly making it through. And, you know, fair play to them. Fair play to them. Should have maybe been down on Furia as, like, the entire world was, in all honesty. But I thought in that O2 bracket, they'd maybe win a BO3. Yeah, Complexity, we got a little bit unlucky. It nearly was the hot pick of the century, to be fair. They went 2-0 very quickly. You know, tough game against Heroic here. But when it came to the BO3s, they got reverse swept. And it's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. It would have been great to see them there. I hope that in some capacity, the players, and especially Jason Lake still there, might get to meet him and whatnot. I was hoping to pick up one of the classic jerseys as well that they've brought back for the players, at least. Maybe they'll be purchasable at the event. Would be cool. So yeah, but this is how it went. Obviously, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know that are watching this video, right? You'll be knowledgeable about this kind of thing. We were close. We were close. It's a little bit unfortunate. We were close, but you know, Diamond is big. Diamond is big. Everyone wants a Diamond, but actually looking at it with this new system, maybe even in the older system as well, I seem to remember, it's actually not all that difficult. You've maybe got this little leaderboard thing going on, which is a bit of a flex, especially if you're in the community. But like, you know, getting gold is not too difficult. Because what do I need? I need 3 more for the next upgrade. I'm going to get 1 more from picking all the predictions. So I only need, like, you know, 2 of these to go my way. And realistically, it's like, I don't think it's too crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be crazy. I might eat my words. I might eat my words. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video here. Cloud9 Vitality, first game coming up in the quarterfinals. Right, a little bit of a difficult one to work with. Cloud9, for me, weird sort of team at the minute. Boomich looking a little bit better on the AWP. But, like, still Boomich AWPing. What can you really make of that? How high can his ceiling go? Can he match off against Zywoo? I mean, I bloody hope not, to be honest. No offense to Boomich, but, like, you know, Zywoo's been doing this for a while and is the #1 player in the world as of last year. So, I mean, you'd hope not. Axal took a little bit of a ramp up. He's the other name, obviously, on the Cloud9 team that I think turns a lot of heads, and rightfully so. Massive drop-off last year. Maybe this new look, Cloud9, will help him out. Don't really know. However, Vitality have also got my boy Mezzi, UK represent. But I just think Vitality are the better team. Like, come on now, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to playing on the stage, when it comes to the ceiling that they have. Still, again, we can take it back a little bit here into the elimination stage. Super, super recent. They were doing really well in CS2 up until the start of this year, really poor Kato from Vitality. And you can kind of see, you know, it was a bit of a weird run. They lost to Eternal Fire. Yeah, you just don't really expect that, you know, in all honesty. So, and then they had Mongols, then they had Imperial, so, and then even Complexity in the BO3s. Not the most challenging teams in the world, but I'm still going to put them through. Still going to put them through for my money, just because I think they are a much more solid team, much more well-rounded team. I believe there's a couple of veto clashes and whatnot with these teams as well, so you know that could get a little bit interesting there. But I'm not going to read too deep into that kind of thing. I'm more of a feels sort of guy. This one here, Team Spirit FaZe Clan rematch of the Katowice finals, again should be an absolute banger. I think this is actually a game I might end up missing. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be, but I'm only getting in for like day 2, 3, and 4. Not there on the first day of playoffs, so I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be for that. So I might end up missing it. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I'm going to go with Spirit, though. I think, you know, FaZe, it's like on paper, they are one of the best teams in the world, but it's difficult because I think you've got a lot of these players. You've got like a Rain, you've got a Carrigan, maybe a little bit past it. Might be one of the last forays for those two players in particular, right? It's going to be difficult, you know, who's going to replace those players, though, because they are so important to FaZe in the way that they play and function, and the organization as well, and all this sort of stuff, and the brand, you know. But I just think Spirit are going to do it. Donk's still looking really good. Very clean throughout the tournament so far. Very clean in the RMR. They lost one map in the RMR. You have to bear in mind, this is a team now looking at it, right, in terms of games. We had one map dropped at Kato in like, 5 BO3s and 1 BO5. Mental. And we had, I think one map. I don't think it was a BO3. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But one game, let's say, lost at the RMR. And then they went flawless in the elimination stage here. So if you look at that track record, you know, we're on for like 12 in 2, or 12 versus 2, sorry, like in terms of win-loss. Yeah. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. Donk's really solid. Zontic's behind him. Shiro looking good. A little bit less of a carry performance from Shiro these days, but he's fitting into that more supportive AWPer sort of role a little better. Might get better as it goes on. So on and so on. Now it starts to get a bit interesting with these next two quarterfinals. Eternal Fire. Hottest streak. The best, for me, the best Turkish Counter-Strike has looked ever. Full stop. You know, Space Soldiers were classic. Love Paz, Engine, you know, they were a good fun team to watch. Their Cobblestone back in the day was really solid, you know, taking it back a few years. But I just feel Zantares looks to be at a high level. Woxic has been up and down over the past couple of years, man. Like, I've seen some terrible performances from this guy online against teams you've never heard of. And then also this really high ceiling of, like, you know, where is this Woxic all the time? It seems like we are getting the high-end Woxic at this tournament, which is brilliant. And then it is Wakadia, of course, who is turning all these heads. Versus Na'Vi, to go in line, you've got Alexi B, obviously, in-game leader, maybe a bit more excusable, but stats-wise, not looking brilliant. You've got Immer, is sort of the guy that a lot of people have been putting the spotlight on for the wrong reasons. Not a great tournament from him. JL, wonderful. Looking good. Bit is really solid for this team. Really consistent. I just don't see it, you know. I just don't see it. You know, they really did struggle there. 3-2 is a clean game against Pain, but other than that, they really haven't impressed, whereas Eternal Fire have just got so much behind them. I think they are really, really, really playing their best Counter-Strike right now, so I'm loving the look of this team. So yeah, I'm going to go with them on that one. It's unsure, it's difficult. This is one of the riskier ones. But then you have to say as well, it's like Na'Vi as an org. You can say, oh yeah, man, they've got the experience. They'll be fine on stage. But actually, when you think about it, you know, they've been building the experience. But like Immer, JL, wonderful especially, they've got barely any experience at this sort of level. Especially the major level, right? So it's not like they have loads more in that sense, in that comfortability on the stage compared to Eternal Fire. And a lot of the tournaments that Na'Vi have been playing, you don't get much stage experience these days. You know, a lot of the run-up for whatever reason, whether it's like budget or it's just easier or, you know, change of scenery, higher stakes for when you get on stage, a lot of the run-up is done in a studio, which, yes, is LAN experience, but it's not quite the same, is it? So I think Eternal Fire will be way readier, and I think they'll be able to deal with the pressure, personally. But I'm not so sold on that one. Now, this one for me is really difficult. I think I'm going to have to stick with where I was at. Mao's obviously form-wise looking great. Don't have to go through the team. Young team, hungry team, super effective. Xerxian, really looking great. Shuya is an in-game leader. I think he, you know, we have this phase conversation. He could maybe make that step up there. You know, I'm sure Carrigan has a little bit of a connection to him, perhaps, chatting behind the scenes and whatnot with Carrigan's history on Mao's. Really fantastic looking team. Torji leaves a little bit to be desired. Definitely got him better under Shuya compared to when he was under Dexter. But there is another thing here that's a bit more personal, I suppose, is that I was down on G2. I didn't put them to go through, and I was so close, man. I was so close. You know, the gods of Counter-Strike working against us a little bit there with the Jame crash, you know, the 2-0 that could have been. So I am going to go Miles on this one. I have to stick to my guns that I'm a bit down on G2 at the moment. They could still do it. Again, Munacy show. Nico, you never know what he is going to be able to do on stage. But the other three, man, so inconsistent. Hooksy, we can leave him out a little bit. But, like, they just can't really... Hunter and Nexa for me, like, I don't know what is going on, man. You know, I've seen some great games out of Hunter. Yeah, not amazing, not mind-blowing, not these Hunter-esque performances of 2021. But, like... Still, mate, you know, I don't know. It's really difficult to know what kind of team you're going to get with G2 at the moment. Right, so now it becomes really challenging, and I appreciate we've been going on a little bit here, a bit more waffleage so far, but I've given you a good layout, what I think of all the teams, so I can kind of move through this next stage a little faster. Vitality Team Spirit. Oh, my goodness. So, Team Spirit, at Kato, you would have said, you know, is Donk going to crumble on stage? So, there's this big update, the change Peak's advantage, you know, nerfed Donk, so to speak. He still performed really well. Not quite the same numbers, but, you know, it was this fresh update and everything. They're really, really great. I think Vitality have got a lot more to defend. I think that Vitality, again, for me, they're still betting in some new players. You've got to bear in mind, Magisk and Dupree are gone from the last major. So that is something to consider massively. But just the ability of Vitality as an organization, Apex as an in-game leader, to continually rebuild bits and pieces of this team. You know, Vitality are probably one of the only squads, maybe FaZe as well, to have the ability to just pick certain roles, certain players. Sure, they might have the funds to do it as well, which really does help. But, you know, they're able to continually replace bits and pieces of their team super successfully. I love the team. There is a little bit of personal bias in there. You know, I'm good friends with Mezzy. I have met the squad. You know, they're all really great. Probably one of the only top-level teams that I have met in person. So I do feel that they should still have a really good chance here. I think this is going to be the banger semi-final. It should really, really deliver. But yeah, I feel that Vitality, with a little bit of the human element, a little bit of human bias in there, should be able to take it, but that is no sure thing. This one I'm a little bit more sure of. I think that Maus will actually do this. Eternal Fire look great, but I think that they're going to have a ceiling. I think that Maus should be able to put a stop to them just because of that sort of energy. So this is a really interesting one. A lot of people have Spirit moving through into the grand final. Some people have Eternal Fire moving in. You know, some people have got Na'Vi beating Eternal Fire. Like, it's all over the place. It's actually, in theory, it's not all that hard to get your gold coin, but there is a lot of scope. And pretty much all these games, for me, I feel... I'm going to say the only one that would go pretty one-sided is Maus G2. I think that Maus will clap G2. That's going to be my little hot take there. We've got to get them in. But, you know, Cloud9 could take Vitality on a good day. FaZe could potentially win that. I've seen some people put in FaZe through as well, that, you know, they will come back prepared after the BO5, and, you know, they'll be angry and they'll be ready and more bedded in with Frozen, blah, 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 you know, all this kind of stuff. But in terms of the winner, I'm going to have to give it to Vitality again. I think that they just have that layer of depth. We have seen the floor of this team now. Hopefully, they have done things correctly since Kato, and they are slowly ramping up. It's not the cleanest Vitality that we've seen, but in terms of the stage presence, in terms of the capabilities of Apex, the fragging power and the cohesion might be a little bit down, but I think that this will be where this good team, this good Vitality that we've seen, that have done well, you know, at the World Finals, etc. This, for me, is where they will become the great team. So I do really believe in Vitality. So we are going to lock that in. Picks are saved. I need 2 more to get the gold coin. So, you know, hopefully we get some quarters right. Hopefully we get 1 semi right. That would be cool. And then I can get my gold coin and, you know, be like everybody else. I think there's about 6 people in the entire world still on for their diamond coin. But that is going to be everything. Thank you very much for watching. A little bit of a longer one there. Just trying to get a bit more knowledge out. You know, I'm really trying to get more comfortable on the content creation side of things, and indeed just keeping up a bit more. Right? The accountability, let's say, that we've got. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you very much. I know that I've been away for a while. This is the first little bit back in. Thumbnails are funny is what I'm going for at the moment. I'm probably going to find someone to do some thumbnails for me in the future so that they are a bit more eye-catching. And of course, we have to work our way through getting those numbers back up, as the algorithm is probably not pushing me anymore. But I'm cool. I'm making them for me. I'm enjoying it, and I'm just trying to get used to the waffleage and try and ramble a bit less and be a bit more succinct. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.